English audio is provided by a text-to-speech software.
こんにちは、ともです。英語は苦手なので、音声読み上げソフトを頼っています。それではどうぞごゆっくり。
In this video, I look back on Takopi's original sin and introduce the good and bad points of the Japanese school system, as well as preventative measures. This story depicts school life in Japan. I believe there are many children in this wide world who are learning in a way that is different from the Japanese school system. I hope that schools around the world will not imitate Japan's bad points, but will instead adopt its good points and create places where children can find their place in the world. Let's think together about what we can do to help children all over the world have happy school lives. And to you, the students out there right now, there is surely someone out there by your side. The someone you are looking for is waiting for you somewhere in the world. Let's get started. This video covers 3 topics. First, I'll introduce Japan's compulsory education system, particularly the elementary school system where the story is set. Next, I'll look back on the story and discuss the good and bad points of Japan's elementary school education system, as well as measures to prevent these and future improvements. I'm sure there are many differences between the school system in your region and Japan's. I'd appreciate your opinions and thoughts in the comments section. Finally, I've thought about how we should approach the homework given to us by the work, Takopi's original sin. First, let me introduce Japan's compulsory education system. Elementary school is 6 years, followed by junior high school for 3 years. After that, there are 3 years of high school. While high school is not compulsory, many students go on to high school and graduate at age 18, the age at which they are legally recognized as an adult. Elementary school lasts for 6 years, from ages 6 to 12. The new school year starts in April. Let's take a look at what a typical day in the life of an elementary school student is like. Elementary school students walk to school. Most municipalities locate elementary schools within walking distance of elementary school students. At junior high school, the commute distance is wider than at elementary school, so students are allowed to bike to school, but for elementary school, walking to school is the general rule. There are 4 45-minute classes in the morning. After that is school lunch. Students are responsible for everything from serving the food to cleaning up. Therefore, the time for preparation, eating, and cleaning up all fall under school lunchtime. After the break after lunch, the whole class cleans the classroom. There are 2 45-minute classes in the afternoon. Students walk home. As a general rule, school is closed on Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays. Now, while looking back at the story, let's introduce the elementary school system. School classes. Each class has a maximum of 40 students, and students are reclassified every 2 years after enrollment. Let me explain the class system. The same class members are responsible for all aspects of daily life, including all subjects, meals, and cleaning. So, what are the benefits of this system? Children have the opportunity to spend 1 year with new students and 2 years with familiar classmates. Even less sociable children can slowly build relationships. But there are also downsides. Since class members are guaranteed to stay the same for 2 years, problems can become even more serious. If trouble escalates, there is no escape within the school. The story showed the worst of this system. However, some schools are taking preventative measures. Through events where older students eat lunch with younger students and club activities, students can build relationships outside of class. Club activities are a time for students to split into clubs based on their interests and enjoy sports, music, reading, educational games like chess, and more. However, these mandatory clubs are often introduced in the upper grades and do not appear in the story. Proposal for reform. Debates appear to be ongoing, but I don't see any potential for major reform. My opinion is as follows. I think it would be good to have a system that allows students to take online classes and customize them to suit their individual strengths and weaknesses. Class teacher system. In elementary school, the homeroom teacher is responsible for everything from classroom instruction and practical skills to life guidance. The good. One teacher can observe the same group of students throughout the day, making it easier to notice changes and deepen trust. The bad. The happiness and comfort of children's school life is greatly influenced by the skills of teachers. There are also preventative measures to prevent the negative effects of the class teacher system. In addition to the homeroom teacher, there are assistant teachers and school counselors. There is also a system called the PTA, where parents and teachers regularly interact, and parent-teacher associations are involved in the success of school events and monitor the quality of school facilities and lunches. Parent-teacher associations also monitor problematic behavior by homeroom teachers. Based on these preventative measures, improvement measures are sometimes discussed, but there are also problems. The biggest problem is the teacher shortage. About 30 years ago, there were many people who wanted to become teachers, and the hurdles to obtaining teaching qualifications and becoming a full-time teacher were very high. As a result, fewer people aspire to become teachers today, and those who previously held teaching qualifications but were unable to become teachers are aging, resulting in a reluctance to return to the educational field. Furthermore, with regards to parent-teacher associations, for example, there are parents who do not want to be actively involved with schools, and parents who do not take responsibility for domestic problems and instead shift the blame to the school. About 30 years ago, teachers had a very high social status, and even corporal punishment of students was tolerated, depending on the circumstances, as part of education. Today, teachers who are strict with students face social censure and lose their jobs. The reality is that teachers' social status has declined and their salaries are not particularly high, while the burden on teachers remains the same, making it more difficult to resolve the problems in Japan's school education system. In my opinion, I think it would be good to improve the system for supporting students and parents online, reducing the burden on teachers on the front lines, and to incorporate external cooperation for student guidance and club activities. School lunch. The class teacher and the children work together to serve, eat, and clean up the lunch. Good. Lunch is an important time for food education, where children learn about nutritional balance and proper table manners, and develop an appreciation for food. Bad. There is a possibility that harassment may occur, such as forcing people to eat things they don't want to eat. In the story, Shizuka's classmates surround her and repeatedly tell her that it's bad to leave food on her plate. Perhaps they were bullying her by intentionally giving her more than she could eat or seasoning her food in a strange way. Of course, to prevent such negative effects, teachers supervise school lunches and are expected to issue warnings if they observe inappropriate eating habits or food-related bullying. In addition, some schools offer cafeteria-style school lunches rather than class-based, allowing students to eat together freely in large groups, and some schools allow students to bring their own packed lunches. However, the main reason discussions on improvement measures have not progressed is a lack of budget. While some municipalities provide children with free school lunches, it has been pointed out that the quality of the meals is declining due to budgetary constraints. In addition, in the case of paid school lunches, there is the problem of parents failing to pay their school lunch fees. Furthermore, there are a number of issues, such as a mismatch between the school's food education policy and parents' views. In my opinion, I would like the school lunch system to continue for as long as possible. By working with local farmers, students can become familiar with local ingredients, and by preparing and cleaning up after their own meals, they can also develop a sense of gratitude toward the people who prepare the meals. After school. In Japan, there are few penalties for parents who let their children act independently, leaving each family to their own discretion. Of course, if a minor is found in a busy area late at night, they will be taken into police custody. However, there are no laws prohibiting children from spending time alone at home or going out alone. The good. Children have a lot of freedom in how they spend their time, and they can be left to their own devices. The bad. There is a high possibility that problems caused by inadequate care for children or a lack of safety measures will be overlooked. As a preventative measure, there is the after-school care system. Places are provided where children can spend time after elementary school until their parents return from work. However, using this system is not mandatory for parents, so some families do not use it. In addition, shelters are available for children to escape to if they feel unsafe after school. You can often see children's shelter stickers on private homes, shops, and taxis near elementary schools. If a child feels in danger, they can run to the location and ask for adult help. However, necessary improvements do not appear to be progressing. Japanese law leaves many domestic issues to the discretion of parents and has few penalties, so it is believed that laws to protect children are necessary. In my opinion, it would be great if there was a playground or library near the school where children could play safely and where local adults could volunteer to watch over them, but this seems difficult to realize. Finally, I would like to consider the homework that the anime, Takopi's Original Sin, has given us, the viewers. In the final episode, Shizuka, upon reuniting with Takopi, tearfully asks him, "What on earth should I have done?" Takopi replies, "I don't know what to do," and, crying, apologizes, "I'm sorry." It was a deeply heartbreaking scene. If you feel the same way as Shizuka, please ask for help. A teacher like you, a police officer, someone at the hospital, someone at a religious facility, etc. Keep asking until you find someone. So, what should we, as adults, do? No matter how well we improve the system, if the hearts and behavior of adults do not change for the better, the environment for children will not improve. We cannot become Takopi. Like Takopi, it is difficult to remain supportive and not resist, even when we are punched and kicked. We don't live on a happy planet, so we don't have the power of happiness. Getting hit hurts and makes us sad. But we adults can learn from Takopi. Takopi said, "Thank you," to Shizuka. "Thank you for playing with me, Shizuka-chan. Thank you for sharing your bread, Shizuka-chan." If we notice and appreciate the small joys, we may be able to accumulate happiness energy. Once we've accumulated enough happy energy, we might be able to imitate Takopi a little. Start with what we can do, little by little. Let's imitate Takopi. Have you found someone? Find someone who is waiting for you. I would be very happy if you would share your feelings in the comments section.